Do we heard that the VP when she was running accumulate all of this money, almost
Yeah,
$1 billion.
No, 1.7 billion.
Okay, so
Yeah.
over $1 billion.
Yeah.
All right. So does the Commonwealth of Massachusetts teams that do these calls, do these runs, get any portion of that? And if
No,
so,
we give it
how?
out.
I wanted to say, how can we get some?
Yeah, no, so Massachusetts, we're lucky. Look, there's no risk. It has been more than 30 years since even one electoral vote in Massachusetts ever went for a Republican. So
nationally,
yeah. And so we're lucky there. We are the state that donates more money to Democratic causes and candidates per capita more than any other state in the country. More than $1 billion in 2024 came off of Martha's Vineyard alone.
Really?
And so I remind my friends all
$1 billion
just off of that one island. Yeah.
Wow.
I remind my friends all across the country, don't forget we're the ones who give you all the money to do what you're doing. So come back and help us out when we need it.
I want to use that one
time. Because there's a lot of stuff that we do want to do here. And we've got the governor on the ballot next year.
Yeah.
The governor, lieutenant governor who need our support, who need the resources. We will have a competitive Senate race. We now have a primary, and we'll have a competitive general election. So there's a lot of races that we need the resources for here in Massachusetts.
Okay.
We are proud to do our part.
Yes.
Proud to do our part. And we're actually really proud that Kamala Harris's last event as the nominee for vice president was in Provincetown. The next day the switch happened. And one of the first events she did, 6 days after the switch, was in Pittsfield.
Okay.
So she understood to come to Massachusetts for
money.
Right.
But
money.
It makes sense that
sense.
Is a thing. And in kind of switching gears a little bit, Massachusetts, in looking at some of the data, depends on who you look at, received, the vice president received over 60% of the votes, of the ballots for the presidential election.
Yes.
But there was a third of the Commonwealth that did not.
Mm-hmm.
That's is that a growing percentage nationally for elections where the Commonwealth has seen this other side Republican rise in, or is it just like, you know what, they're going to be some, we have them here, and they're going to vote for their national candidate as well as their local, because locally they're spread out down at the Vineyard Cape area was a stronghold at one time. Yeah. Now they are, are they mobilizing?
So I'll say this. My first job in politics was working for Ted Kennedy, and I worked for him for 14 years. It was a great experience. There's about 30, he understood very well, there are about 32% of the Bay State who would never vote for him under any circumstance. Under any circumstance. He still won his elections, so that was fine. So there is that piece, and that's okay too, to have a base of Republicans. There was the real concern in 24 for us was in places like Fall River and in Lawrence, where the Republican share really grew. Fall River voted for a Republican candidate for president, Trump, for the first time in 100 years.
Wow.
And it was very concerning. We've spent a lot of time since then down there working with the local committee and people down there to try to understand. And a lot of it was on the economy. And I think so a lot of people thought, and I have a neighbor in Lancaster who told me he voted for Trump because he thought his life was
going to get
better. And that it was better under him the first time. He said to me very clearly, he said, look, I understand you're probably going to tell me that it wasn't.
Right.
But that's how I feel. And I tell Democrats all the time, you can't win elections by telling people how to feel.
Right.
You have to hear them and talk to them about issues. And